Today, we're going to hear an amazing story about a very special man named Abraham and a big promise from God. Let's see what happens next in our Bible adventure. Here's Abraham sitting outside his tent. He was a very old man, and he had been waiting a long time for something special that God had promised him. God had told Abraham that he would have a family as big as all the stars in the sky. But Abraham and his wife Sarah still didn't have any children. Even though it was taking a while, Abraham kept trusting God. One day God spoke to Abraham and gave him some incredible news. A soft warm light appeared and God said, "I am making a special promise with you." First, God gave Abraham a new name. He used to be called Abram, but now his name was Abraham, which means father of many nations. Can you imagine that? God was promising that Abraham would be the start of a huge family that would spread all across the land and become a great nation. God reminded him that this family would start with a special son. God had a surprise for Abraham's wife too. Her name was Sarai, but God changed it to Sarah, which means princess. God promised that Sarah, even though she was very old, would be the mother of this promised son. When Sarah heard this, she laughed to herself. How could she have a baby when she was so old? But God heard her and said, "Is anything too hard for me?" God was showing them that he could do anything, even things that seem impossible. To show how serious this promise was, God made something called a covenant. A covenant is like a super special, unbreakable promise. Think of it like a pinky promise that can never be broken. This promise was between God and Abraham's family forever. To help them remember this covenant, God gave them a special sign. This sign was a physical reminder that they belonged to God's special family and were part of his amazing plan. It was a way to show they were set apart for him. So even when things seemed impossible, Abraham and Sarah learned to trust God's plan. They looked forward to the future, knowing that God always keeps his promises. This story reminds us that God has a big, wonderful plan and he is always faithful. He kept his promise to Abraham and he keeps his promises to us too.